Hey there, traders, and welcome back for episode number 60 from the StockBandit.tv. I'm always glad that you're able to make it, and I certainly hope that your trading week is off to a good start. Now, in many areas of life, you may have noticed that just when things start to become really easy, it becomes even easier to start making mistakes. And maybe that just comes about when you start letting down your guard, or you simply begin to expect smooth sailing. Now, I'm all for positive thinking, but what I'm referring to here is carelessness and not respecting the danger which is out there. And so, whether you're talking about driving or, trading the stock market, obviously, when we take this market and put it into that context, it brings to mind an important topic, which is the persistent strength we've seen over the past 8 weeks and counting, and yet there still is danger of downside. And so that's always going to be present in the market. Now, today we saw the market resume its strength after some hesitation last week. Obviously, here's a look at the S&P 500, and actually for the last few weeks, this index has hesitated beneath that 875 former resistance level, which it also recently touched. Now, it's been very hesitant to get up and over that hurdle, but today we saw strength return, we saw volume kick up a notch, and we saw a very solid gain of 3.3% in the S&P as it actually led the way higher, and now it's coming up to this next resistance area near 915, which is a former key area as well. Now, obviously last week, even over looking at the NASDAQ, which has been leading the way this entire rally, we also noted a number of recent week closes, meaning so many days we were seeing this index finish the day well off of its session highs. And so, we were seeing, some struggles with important resistance zone in the major indices, the senior indices like the S&P and Dow, and the NASDAQ was struggling to finish strong. But then, of course, today we saw all of those levels cleared with ease. Even the Dow cleared this 8350 zone, and so S&P getting well clear of 875, and then of course the NASDAQ now pushing toward this 1785 zone. But today, obviously, it was apparently easy for the bulls, and so the question comes to mind: is it just a nonstop bull market from now on? Because are we just going to be able to buy with reckless abandon and never expect anything worse than these little 2-day pullbacks that we've seen over here along the way up? That's all we've seen when it comes to multi-day pullbacks. Just 4 of them, and there's only been 2 days at a time on the dips, and so the dips have been very shallow and very temporary. And so are we now finally in this zone where all it is just up and to the right every day and every single week? Well, I'm sure not here to predict any major turning point, but I'm here to tell you absolutely not. It's not going to be smooth sailing forever. And in fact, just when it's starting to seem so easy for the bulls is when it's important to perk up and start paying particular attention to the price action and key levels. The long side was certainly the wrong side for a very long time. We saw this market just trend lower, and the wrong side was one which really caused a lot of pain throughout this entire sell-off. However, in the past 2 months, the long side has been absolutely the right side, and it's been a very lopsided whooping by the bulls over the bears, because those bears have pretty much all but disappeared. And so, what I want to point out here in this episode is be on your guard. Do not ignore the downside risk, which is always present in the market. It is smooth sailing right now. It has been. The dips have been very shallow. The upside has been persistent, but truth be told, given the shallow and extremely brief dips that we've seen over the past 8 weeks, we're probably closer to the end of this initial bounce off of that March low. We're probably closer to the end of this initial bounce than we are the beginning. Now notice that I said the initial bounce, not the uptrend itself, because in fact we've already seen a confirmed double bottom in the NASDAQ here as we cleared this 1665 area just recently. So that confirmed a double bottom in the NASDAQ, and that is certainly a trend change. But The S&P 500 is going to need to clear this 943 zone in order to achieve the same status of kind of confirming this double bottom and of course a higher high. It has yet to do that, but the indices do have some more technical work to be done, and namely they need to produce a higher low once the next meaningful pullback arrives. But given how far this bounce has traveled over the past 8 weeks, I would certainly expect a higher low to form as a result of the next dip whenever and wherever it happens to occur. I really would be very surprised to see this market turn around and reverse in a straight line back down and break those March lows. Now, right now, I am trading the long side. That is where a lot of opportunities have surfaced, of course. But I'm also going to keep a very close eye on the stocks which are not participating, and I will trade those on the short side. In fact, in tonight's member video, there are a couple in there. But essentially, this is a spot to carefully trade the long side, but still be on watch for some potential changes of character, and do not entirely avoid the short side. Some good opportunities will emerge there on the short side, and whenever we do see that pullback finally set in, whenever it does arrive, it will be nice to either have some hedges on or to know quickly what to turn to in order to trade that move. So stay on your toes out there, because I can guarantee you that this market will not be smooth sailing forever. In fact, whenever it does turn around, it's probably going to catch a lot of people off guard. But when it does happen at some point, it's going to be nice to know where to turn, and I think it's very important to know that that turn is going to come at some point, and that'll help you identify that shift once it does arrive, and you'll recognize it more quickly, and you'll be able to avoid getting caught off guard like so many other people will. All right, so always stay on your guard, always respect the risk that's out there. Every single good trader out there, every single poker player or risk manager knows how to continually gauge both sides of the coin. As a trader, that's certainly something that we've got to do. All right, so thanks again for joining me, and I will be back soon with more videos, but in the meantime, trade like a bandit.